Yo, yo, another wild NFL playoff weekend. The games they gave. Um Houston one was rough, that Houston Pats game. But the Bears Rams, that was pretty nuts.
I mean, they
Broncos
were all
Broncos
they were all
Bills.
pretty close. Even if we saw the CJ Stroud meltdown in real life,
Yeah.
right before our eyes, and then all of a sudden I was sitting there and I had the thought of maybe Bryce Young really is the best quarterback from that draft
Oh,
class.
dang,
And
we keep
the
coming back
Panthers
to it.
traded the Panthers traded their first round pick out of the Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May class because you got to have Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. But yeah, I mean, it was an amazing. I will say that one Caleb Williams throw. We all know which one it was. Group chat was popping off. I mean, everyone was like,
That was pretty nuts.
like he's arrived, he's him, he's the best. Everyone's like, there's no quarterback I'd rather have. Like everyone's like, dude, this like it was special. Like you and we've seen it all year of like big clutch moment, and he just pulls a rabbit out of his hat. And now obviously, fast forward like 10 plays and it's the interception. And I don't know if it's 100% on his fault. It seems like DJ Moore kind of quit on the route / went deeper than what Williams was thinking. But still, it was funny because it's like if you just finish that off, it's like the Julio Jones catch in the Super Bowl. It's like if you finish that off, that is NFL films. That is, something people talk about for decades. And instead, it's going to be something that people are like, that was pretty cool. But you have to put that behind you as you move forward.
Hey, this is we got to be careful with some of these, because I mean I was doing my rounds. So did this news break in the last 3 minutes? That would be sweet. McDaniel OC Chargers. I assume not.
I heard he was in LA. I saw people on Reddit be like, I'm in the LA airport and Mike McDaniels is right next to me.
I'm surprised too, and I did see the turning down the Bears head coach interview. So I'm surprised at the number of OC interviews.
The Bears head coach.
Oh, sorry, the Browns.
You mean the Browns?
Yeah. There's my.
They're like Ben Johnson.
Legit?
Sorry.
Yeah. But hey, let's not keep the news down any longer. I know everyone's waiting to hear my opinion on the Petsing hire for the Lions. All right, I'm gonna give the quick Lions fan wearing the sweatshirt. I'm gonna give the quick Lions fan copium take. All right, and it is as follows. 1, play calling experience. No. I think that the main thing is the run game was so bad for the Lions this year. Like that was 100% just a true statement. Also, 5th in scoring in the league. So like terrible running game, 28 points. I mean, we're attacking O-line in the draft is my hope. I do think that Petsing, for like all you could say about how rough the Cardinals offense has been over the past 3 seasons, this last year was pretty wonky, obviously with the Kyler benching, James Conner's out for the entire year. But the previous years before that, like, upper middle half in, running efficiency, a little bit of James Conner. But I think that the Lions believe that this could hopefully revamp the running game that was abysmal this last year. Hopefully.
Do you think he'll bring in Kyler? Goff kind of had a down year. You might need a new quarterback.
I love I know you're like very tongue in cheek, and it's you have to catch me a little bit, because I will spew Lions homerism nonsense until the day I die. But I feel like there's like a lot of like bad Lions juju vibes offensively and with Goff, and like 28 points per game, like Goff, just pure like stats numbers. And the schedule next year I'm pretty excited about. But all right, here we go. I got it. Don't worry here. Don't worry. With the Cards OC, your wide receivers will be crap. Expect Laporta to do better. Little Trey McBride there. He couldn't even get MHJ involved. I am less worried about I don't know how to put this without like coming off too copium, because that couldn't get MHJ involved. that boy Michael Wilson was balling, like the Jacoby Brissett Michael Wilson games. So I think there's a little bit of give and take with like couldn't get elite wide receiver involved. Is elite wide receiver actually elite wide receiver? I think there's some interlocking there that needs to happen for us to get to the truth of how bad is this Drew Petzing hire for the Lions OC job.
It's certainly an odd hire, especially because it's like the Cardinals flame out was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But and the Lions job is a very desirable job.
Yeah.
You essentially have everything in place. You have 2 wide receivers, you have a good tight end, you have a good offensive line, good quarterback. Like you don't have to figure out any of the pieces. It just comes down to like what type of scheme you want to run.
Yeah.
I will say the one optimistic thing is it just Kyler Murray is so bad at running a professional offensive scheme, right? We saw Brissett go in there, and Brissett was able to air the ball out. And all of a sudden, Michael Wilson and McBride and all these players were, I mean, McBride was always good, but now these players kind of stepped up to another level. I'm not totally out on it. I also don't think
like when you
a home run hire.
When
Obviously,
you see this
Mike
come
McDaniel
through,
would have been the flashy hire.
Yeah, I mean the Drew Petzing was not the name I wanted to see come across my desk when it came to let's go offensive coordinator hire. But I'll just say, when you see this hire happen, is this drastically or even in any capacity changing your perception on Lions players for next year? Or is this kind of, because I think that's the one tough thing with a lot of these offensive coordinator and head coaching hires. We'll talk about it with some other coaches as well. Like Saleh gets hired for the Titans, and it's a lot of times you have to like find the truth behind, okay, who actually is running the offense? You know, is it the offensive coordinator? Who is calling the plays versus some of these hires? So with that being said, any change at all in your perception of Lions players, or do you think that there is any general consensus feeling that this is like a bad hire and going to be bad for the Lions, that the struggles will continue, like that kind of vibe? Because I personally, as a biased Lions fan, can also open my third eye and see Bears offense and running game, you know, one of the better running games in the league this last year.
Mm-hmm.
And Lions, like the drop off increase in terms of just purely rushing efficiency is my hope here with this hire, that there's yeah.
Well, the hard part is you are replacing a genius, right? You had the hype of Ben Johnson, what he delivered. It's there's going to be some regression unless you stumble into the next Ben Johnson type.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys don't stay long anyway. I think the players I'd be scared about would be like the J-Mo's, the David Montgomerys, like the peripheral guys. I could see a different offense that leans more on like Laporta, Amon-Ra, Gibbs, but I still expect them to be superstars because that's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
It might just not be as like, sometimes the Lions offense was like, oh, I don't care, I could start Gibbs and Montgomery. Like everyone's gonna eat. There's
anytime touchdown
I
odds
don't know
are
if that's
crazy.
still going to be there. Yeah, but I do think the one player that may get a bump would be like a Laporta, given just the hey, McBride, Laporta. But it's hard to really know. Like, it would all be speculation because what he was working with in Arizona is very different than what he's working with here. He
100%.
might install a completely different offense that makes more sense to the personnel there.
Yeah, and we don't need to use the full 10-minute intro on everyone's opinions on the Lions offensive coordinator.
This is a Lions show.
Episodic. I find a way to talk about the Lions every episode. Don't you guys worry. But no, I think I do not. I'm hopeful as a Lions fan. Let's say that. And I'll just, the last thing I'll say is, as far as like franchises, organizations go, I'm not trying to talk smack about the Arizona Cardinals.
Uh-oh.
Shout out to Diaz, who's not even a Cardinals fan, right? Just is in the area. But
I thought he was a Niners fan.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, I feel like a lot of those surveys that go around about like the worst organization, like food stuff and whatever. I'm getting a little bit too
That's true.
I need to click a
the
chat
cafeteria
message.
will be a lot better. That's why you went to Detroit.
All right,
was the cafeteria.
all right. What I'm trying to say, I'm beating around the bush. Okay, I'm trying to be a little bit more. I don't want to say politically correct. That sounds disrespect. All right, all I'm saying is, would we be surprised at all if betting equals good and Cardinals equals suck? There we go. Niners faithful. See, I had you there, Diaz. I just didn't have the teams right. Yo, what up, Kyle?
Diaz, a big Cardinals. I had you there. The teams wrong.
I had
You're like a Packers
run the tape
fan,
back,
right? Well,
run the tape back. I was 80% there. I think the thoughts on the 5th year Bryce option. I'll let you do your. This is the weekly Jeremy Bryce Young check in, even though he didn't play football before the last between the last stream and this one.
I know. Then it's the
Just got to rewatch highlights.
I mean, I think you take it just because like what other guys are gonna get, and it's not super expensive to begin with. I get more concerned when you're sitting there saying, does he get more of the Sam Darnold extension, Baker Mayfield extension, or does he get the Tua and the Kyler extension?
Yeah.
Because to me, the Kyler Tua extensions, that's a mistake. I'd much rather just roll with, random guy for 20-something million. But if we can extend him for, 20, 30 mil a year, sure, I don't care. I think that's fine because he's just a guy. He's like congrats, you got the 19th best quarterback in the league. It's not. I don't want to be paying him franchise quarterback money long term. I think this is the move I would make as well. Of just, hey, maybe he takes it to the next level next year or whatever, and then you're like, okay, let's figure it out. But that to me is you wait as long as possible. And I don't know how the comp pick stuff works
for first round pick.
But also, I think if you leave, we would get a good comp pick as well. From how I believe that works, but I may be wrong.
Speaking of 5th year options, I know we've got them on the thumbnail. I'm making it a point. Shout out to the one person who commented on a live stream, like the 5th one we did. That was it was a good comment though. That was the thing. That's why I keep going back to it. It was we had like Josh Downs on the thumbnail or something, and we were just trying to do a little bit more like pointed dynasty takes. And the guy was like, I had to wait an hour to hear you guys talk about Josh Downs. He's on the freaking thumbnail. And I was like, you know what? True. But speaking of 5th year option.
Yeah, he got us. You did get us.
How about CJ Stroud? Man, I mean, obviously, the last thing people see sticks in people's head. And the last 2 games being, I mean, good defenses, but terrible turnover games. Been inconsistent this year. We got to see some decent Davis Mills game, which is always tough as like the comparison when you do like the Jacoby versus Kyler thing and you're comparing the same offenses in the same year. We got the CJ is washed comment. I think he probably played himself out of an early extension and is probably on the Bryce trajectory in terms of 5th year option. We'll see how this year goes. I think if they make the playoffs again and he has a decent year, he's going to find himself getting extended in some capacity. But yeah, I mean, we're going back to the 102 in startups, man, the rookie season. No line.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of my early takes was definitely CJ at the 102. I'm just like, where is that coming from? Outside of just he had a amazing rookie year, but even an amazing rookie year didn't translate to an amazing fantasy football player.
It was a Joe Burrow projection. Yeah, like he's just going to be Joe Burrow for his career.
And I do think Big Diaz has a good point. Like,
no Nico this last game too.
The lack of investment in the offensive line and protection around CJ Stroud's an issue, especially since you look at all the advanced metrics and one of his biggest knocks in college outside of the Georgia game that hyped him up was his composure under pressure. That was like his biggest weakness. And they're like, you know what? We don't need offensive line. After the first year, we don't need that. So I'm not as out on him. But I do think he is in that like Bryce Young tier. I don't think he's probably anything super special. They do need to invest more in the offensive line. That defense they have is super elite. I mean, that would be a defense we would consider one of certainly championship worthy, but also could be one of the best defenses assembled if the offense could match it. So I'm not trying to say, well, the O-line sucks. Like that's his excuse. He still played terrible. And there was like obvious passes where it's just like wide open dude in the flat and you miss him. or you throw it behind. I mean, he threw it so far behind, his tight end tore his ACL. So there's certainly issues.
Yeah.
There's certainly issues
True.
with. I mean, it was. It really was
Yeah.
such a bad pass. He was wide open. He was wide open. He threw it so bad he tore his ACL. I'm not even lying there.
No,
But,
no, I'm
yeah,
with you.
I mean,
Call me off guard.
I think it's very much of like he's another Bryce Young. Like he's another Bryce Young. You probably want him. Like you wouldn't cut him or anything. But I also think if I was the coach, I would probably have benched him. Davis Mills has been playing all right. He can at least hit the guy in the flat and like just maintain the game.
Yeah.
Instead of, like that. It was just like CJ just lost all the confidence he had. He was all over the place. It was a complete meltdown. So part of me is like, I still believe CJ, and I think that's why they kept him in. Is they're just like, if we bench him in the playoffs for Davis Mills, like what's the offseason look like with like, what are we doing with CJ? But I still think CJ is the guy you at least roll out for year 4, year 5.
Oh, yeah.
If he doesn't figure it out, then you cut bait, don't sign the mega deal. I think we'll see that more as teams start relying on heavy passing offenses less with the more tight ends, more running the ball, a lot less passing or passes per game per play, things like that. I don't think we're gonna have as many people saying I want a Tua contract hanging over your head.
Yeah, I'm a Stroud buyer in the same way. I was an A-Rich buyer, poor now. All right, we got 2 McDaniel OC Chargers.
That's a good one.
Can I do I have permission to pull up the phone? I saw a sleeper notification come through. Oh, it was
phone time.
Somebody putting a draft pick on the block in a league. The classic. Do I have Diaz confirmation?
There's like a notification about the McDaniel stuff.
The notification is me.
You're like, somebody put their 108
wow.
on the trade block.
First thing I'm seeing is Chargers expected to hire McDaniel as OC. Bucks and Eagles pursued McDaniel as OC as well. Man, I don't know. Am I? Maybe I'm just a fantasy fanboy. Do you think that's what it is? That sometimes we get so fantasy focused that we get surprised that some of these offensive-minded head coaches that were just recently fired don't have more head coach interviews. I am a Titans fan.
McDaniel, like if I was him, all you gotta do is rehab your image for 1 year and get like a good job. And I think that's kind of what, if I was McDaniel, that would be my take.
Dude, that's why I wanted to do the Lions job.
I needed a job. I needed a job. I took the Dolphins job. I had to battle Tua the whole time. And he's like, everyone still kind of believes in his offense.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as he doesn't mess it up, he can kind of do the Ben Johnson of like, I'm just going to hang out into a situation that opens up that has, especially the offensive pieces, not like a awful contract hanging over my head. Yeah, and true. You get to live in LA instead of Detroit. No offense. That LA offense is also exciting.
All right, I'm just pulling up beautiful cities, pictures of the city of Detroit for you guys real quick.
This really is a Detroit Lions pod.
All right, good for running backs and tight ends. Yeah, I don't want to like put you in boxes, Jeremy, but I feel like you were the Hampton guy. So I'm trying to. So in terms of like, I think this just has to be a positive, right? For just like all bases. And I think even outside of offensive coordinator changes for the Chargers, I think all the O-line injuries they had this year, like there just was going to be excitement for the pieces getting healthier heading into next year. So meaningful bump in your mind for like 1-2 year expectations for key Chargers guys, Hampton, Gadsden.
My take would be yes, but not because of McDaniels. It's just because you have the tackles coming back.
Yeah.
Because I like the offense even when they had one of their tackles. Like at the beginning of the year, they're airing out to QJ. Ladd didn't see the ball ever, but it was Keenan, QJ. Hampton was burning it up. Everyone was sitting there being like, this is the best team in the league. We found it. The Chargers have it. And then their offensive line with the shits. So that to me, just a healthy offensive line will do wonders for that team. And McDaniels is just like a cherry on top.
Yeah.
I don't want to read too much into small changes, like maybe Laporte is more valuable, or maybe
Yeah.
I think all the pieces are properly valued. It's not like it's not like Ladd jumps into the top 10 player.
Yeah.
I think everyone's pretty properly valued. The biggest bump is just going to be having a healthy offensive line. Hopefully they address some of that interior. I know their center is they need to upgrade the center spot, certainly.
I'll give you one question. What are you doing with Kamani Vidal after obviously playoff game? Hard to read into, where I think Hampton was like DNP, like limited practice, and then just like I think they were probably letting him see how he felt heading into the game. And then just we're like, okay, you're not ready for this health wise right now. But do you think that we got Ladd Buyer and Kamani Seller? Now, what do you think you realistically? Let's head over to dynastydaddy.com.
Ooh, wow, smooth.
I don't know how smooth it is. If I'm looking up Kamani Vidal trades, I don't know how smooth we really can be there. But
well, I mean,
I'm just curious of the current price.
I agree with Kamani Seller, certainly. I think anytime you have a running back within that range, pop. Like either they take the Bucky step, which that's not going to happen here, or they go back to being kind of a one injury away guy. So for me, if I can get any sort of decent value for him, I would certainly take it.
So we've got the 304 right now. Would you rather have Kamani or the 304? I think that's probably pretty fair price.
I was about to say, I think it's fair.
It's pretty shallow. 10 team start
probably
9.
Just take Kamani though.
Yeah,
I probably just take Kamani just because I'm like I've seen him produce.
Yeah.
Versus like me hoping I can hit on the next. Knowing my luck, I'll get Jordan James or whatever, and I'll just be sitting there waiting for him to do anything all year.
I'd happily do this.
At least Kamani has some sort of role.
Yeah, any of these seconds, that's not what I'm talking about in terms of Vidal being an interesting buy. It would just be more of like roster construction wise. However important and valuable you think the one injury away backs are to your team, especially in deeper like 12 by 10, 12 by 11, 12 by 12 tier leagues. When you can turn,
I'd love to be able to just upgrade into like a late second, maybe toss in like a something.
Jake Tonjes or Kamani 23 days ago. Best ball as well.
That's
Full
true.
point 10 and premium. I mean, that's probably just got to be Tonjes.
Tonjes is a tight end too at this point.
The tight end too at this point. All right, we don't need to spend more time with the on the Kamani breakdown. I just was curious.
We got another 30 minutes of Kamani Vidal trade.
Yeah, stay tuned, guys. Are you with all the picks after the 1-5 are terrible this year trade? Yeah, go ahead. What will you say?
Yeah, I do want to talk about that, but I will have another running back, and it hurts me because I'm a big fan, but I do have one running back that's on my sell list. It's our guy Woody Marks.
Yeah,
I think
he's
like
got a couple
Tyrone
bullets to dodge.
Right?
Yeah,
it's Tyrone Tracy. You had an amazing year. Can I cash out? Can I get that value? Because where's he really go from here? He's not a super efficient runner. The offensive line stinks. That offense stinks. And they will probably bring in somebody, given that Chubb and Mixon Mixon is MIA, and Chubb isn't anything to write home about at this point.
Yeah.
So to me, I think that's an early sell as well, because you can trick someone on, he's a younger player. He's this.
Especially these two usage wise.
I see him as like a Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah. Like this last game, I mean, 14 for 17 on the ground, two receptions.
Mm-hmm.
The tough thing with Woody is I was shocked at his usage this year. That wasn't like in as a pass catcher at all. Because I think that's the one thing you could have kind of held your head on with Woody is like, whatever role he's in, he can absorb the Dare Ogunbowale, like whatever, insert Texans pass catching running back, so that in the case Mixon comes back or
Jawar Jordan.
Yeah, or they bring in they draft somebody and there's competition there. You at least know he has the passing game role. Like a couple like 3-4 reception games, but yeah, nothing that I feel confident in projecting moving forward. So yeah, like with pretty tough efficiency. I mean, what do you think? Let's go back to the database. I'm sure there was some recent Woody trades. Yeah, he's
Wait.
Look at this. RB
204 and the 305.
226. He's the RB3 or the RB1 in trades. I said that really weird, but you guys know what I'm talking about. All right, what was yours? You gave me
There's some fun ones. This one's just a 204, 305.
Ooh, 204.
I feel like that's pretty. To me, that's a good cash out.
Yeah. How many starters?
Woody Marks and a 27 second. Tyler Shuck in the 308.
I'm shucking. I'm shucking, dude. I get a year of a starting quarterback with upside. What if he just is the shuckster, man, and you get Brock Purdy for Woody Marks in a second?
As two people that when we first started up this show, we were all about the crusties. All about the crusty running backs.
Yeah.
Would you do this? A 12-team, start 10, super flex, half PPR, half tight end premium. Woody Marks in the 412 for James Conner in the 304.
Oh, man.
Crusty?
304. I was about to say, who even are the crusty running backs anymore, you know? Like, all the names heading into this year.
Still like Aaron Jones.
Yeah, probably still Aaron Jones. But, I mean, a lot of people are mocking Vikings to take running backs, which, I mean, they did.
Aaron Jones he has no guaranteed money left, I think. So he might be out of there.
Trinidaded? No shot. I don't know if they would do. I don't know if they would do something like that. I think they would give Shuck a good full year without like strong competition. I guess.
Yeah, I mean he finished the year off pretty well, and I mean even Rattler wasn't looking bad.
Ooh.
Like I was shocked when they benched Rattler to begin with.
Yeah, for sure. I moved Woody and a 27 first for Jordan Love and a 201 this year. I like that. You probably do.
That's a good way to tier up off of Woody, and ultimately you're not losing a ton of value, even though 2026, kind of segueing into Ray Rue's point, people are pooping on those late first, early second, 26 picks. It's still you get a locked in quarterback for a while.
Yeah, and I know in terms of specific names. Like we've done this exercise the past couple streams where we talk through like there's the 3 receivers that are getting first round buzz for sure in Tate, Tyson Lemon, and then obviously Mendoza, Jeremiah Love as well. So that's kind of the 5 that people are kind of penciling in, but that is still like in the equation is still the hype that a 3rd round RJ Harvey gets. Because he gets to go to, a 3rd round Caleb Johnson gets. That's a tough example, okay? But he gets to go to the Steelers, right? The landing spot. Think about the landing spots that you might get for some of these running backs who I like in like the 2nd and 3rd rounds, you know?
You won me over when you're like, these later picks, late first are gonna be so valuable. Think of Caleb Johnson.
Okay, I was gonna do the RJ Harvey thing, and then I said 3rd instead of saying late 2nd, but. Like, that's in the same camp, right? And it's probably a better comparison when you're looking at, in terms of hype, that we will get around prospects. I mean, I'm seeing mocks that have Ty Simpson going in the 1st, Denzel Boston, Casey Concepcion. I don't know how many of these guys will end up actually being 1st rounds, but don't think about the asset itself, but think about the rookie draft when Keon Coleman went to the Bills. In the early 2nd, like you have to do those comparisons. You can't just do, all right, I know and feel great about these 5 players going in the 1st round. Wow, the rookie class sucks outside of that. And that's not even talking about, Sadiq.
I think Sadiq, to me, it's a solid top 6 if you have a big tight end premium, like a double or 0.75. Sadiq, to me, is a locked in 106 at worst. Because he'll probably get late first round draft capital, and that's just a great hit rate for tight ends. Being involved in the passing game. And we've seen as well, wide receiver 2s aren't as valuable in fantasy football this year, whereas those tight ends are starting to become more valuable as a passing option. So for me, I definitely want to get some like Deeks. But I also think guys like Coleman and Price, are guys that, like you said, could get that second, third round draft capital and all of a sudden shoot up the ranks. And 2, I mean, we just saw Jackson Dart basically have the same hype as a Simpson or a Trinidad. Get that kind of fall later in drafts, and you're able to pick up that value there. So for me, I think it's frisky, but I would also say this is kind of that Matthew Golden, Luther Burden range guys. Those guys last year would have gone at like the 201. This year, they're going at the 106, 107. So it's certainly like those late first are less valuable. It's more of this like, it's less locked in as a pick. But the top is very good. And these guys are kind of last year's, early second type picks of maybe they pan out. Maybe the Matthew Golden pans out. Maybe, the Jackson Dart pans out. I guarantee you're gonna look at that list and be like, oh man, like Boston's sick and Coleman's awesome, but Price sucks. Like there's gonna be some hits and misses, and you just got to know it's kind of a mix of it's kind of a mixed bag there versus the top 5 where it's even if Jordan Tyson's banged up all year and kind of stinks. Guess what? He's still gonna hold wide receiver 25 value, and people are gonna love him. So they don't have the insulation. I will say I could see Trinidad, if he gets solid draft capital, I could see him really shoot up the board after what he did, in the playoffs.
Yeah, and especially just like the pure rushing upside. Like if a quarterback commits to, like the Justin Fields-ism of like, if a team commits to this player being their starting quarterback, like for fantasy, what does that do for you upside wise?
Well, I have a bit of a confession here.
Oh yeah, confess.
Started the stream, I was a little distracted.
It's
a little distracted because NC State men's basketball after spending $12 million. We're gonna be a reckoning in the ACC after losing everybody this year. Got our first ranked win against Clemson. It feels pretty good. Everyone's saying I'm a Will Wade hater. I am not. I'm not a Will Wade hater. I am just saying he ain't no Dave Doran yet. Let's get some ACC wins.
Michigan is like insanely good this year, but I'm kind of a fake college sports fan. I don't want to say this out loud. I said it one time. I confessed. I didn't go to Michigan or Michigan State. And growing up, my family, my father did not have a strong like college sport affiliation. We were very much a pro sport team. Go Pistons, go Lions. So I root for both the Spartans and the Wolverines, which is like very taboo. Not okay. Do not do this.
That is a Venn diagram of one.
Yes, it's just me, and both sides think I'm the worst. But so I feel like I can't. I wanted to explain that before circling back and talking about the MSU and U of M basketball seasons this year.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. It's always a football. As we only have 3 meaningful games left.
Dang.
It hurts a little bit inside.
One of them is a big game.
My mental therapy is to just watch college basketball. And then after that, then it's like, okay, right when March Madness ends, the draft is here, it's go time, and then summer hits and you're worried about, jumping in the ocean or something.
We're not politically targeting ads, are we? I haven't pushed any of the political targeting ad
I don't think
buttons.
so.
Okay.
I have not pressed any of that.
Connor, I will let you know. I'll check on this, and whichever side does give us more money on the revenue, we will be going with that side. So stay tuned for whatever ads are running next week. Analysts,
13 cents of AdSense is
right?
all we need to sell.
Especially in the off season, man. I'm hurting. Not a great best ball year for your boy. Analysts keep saying these wide receivers have worse traits than previous years, but at least 2 are going top 10? ? Yeah, it's. I mean, I saw somebody. I mean, we were talking about Matthew Golden as well. Like, there are a lot of times that people don't fully agree, and analysts have a lot of negatives to say about prospects. But at the end of the day, it only takes one team to think a receiver is a first round talent and deserves to go in the first round for that receiver to then turn into a first round receiver. And I do like I guess the big 3 that people are kind of labeling right now. We'll see what that actually ends up looking like come testing time and interviews and everything. But I do like all those 3.
I think the big 3 this year are probably better than last year's. Like they're right up there with the top guys.
Yeah.
But the drop off is just kind of bad. That's kind of where, after that you kind of get to a bunch of Matthew Golden.
Can I hit you with a this might be a stupid one. All right. You can either have the highest scoring rookie receiver fantasy points per game this year on your dynasty team or T-Mac. Who are you taking?
Ooh, just like in a vacuum, right? Like I can't. I probably just do T-Mac because I'm a Panthers fan.
Okay,
but if I'm doing my brain,
chat, let me know.
My brain, like if one of those top 3 has a good landing spot, I think that's probably going to be to me the upside's a little.
And you get the highest.
Ted still has those games where he just has 1 catch for 4 yards, and you're like, what the hell is going on here?
Yeah.
Bryce Young doesn't pass for 100 yards every game, so like that impacts T-Mac.
Oh man, Bryce is kind of balling. He kind of was. He's been alternating these balling games. He really has.
It's the Dave Dorn special. As a NC State fan, every year mid-season we're like, this guy sucks. Like we need to flush it, redo our football program. But into the year, rivalry week, right? Into the season, we have 1 game against Chapel Hill. And I'll tell you, going there, freezing, watching Bill Belichick get his ass beat by Dave Dorn, I'm like, keep him there. Right? And that's the Bryce Young special. Is like you just know you have to finish off, you have to beat the Falcons, and you just finish off decent enough. And you're like, well, you can't get rid of him. But there's so many times this year where I was just like, I don't want to watch this guy play.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had the realization that I have to watch another season of Bryce Young football, and it just kind of stinks.
It's all right. It could be worse. I had the same kind of feeling for when I saw the McDaniel denying the interview for the Browns or whatever that language ends up being. I felt for the Browns because and as a fellow former poverty franchise, I'm not going to call the Panthers poverty franchise. Made the playoffs this year. We can move past it. I've decided mid thought that we're gonna move past it. Because I do want to revisit this. Was gonna say T-Mac for sure, but if I could guarantee the highest, it's guaranteeing a hit. That is kind of the interesting part. And I mean, not every class has like a smash receiver. Even ones that go in that range, and you have to decide now as well. I probably would just take the upside of the highest scoring per game receiver this year.
I just think the upside is probably just higher. I think Tet will be good, but outside, like if you look at fantasy scoring, the elite quarterbacks or elite wide receivers are there.
Yeah.
Outside of the top, like Nico Collins up, like having Tet this year was nice, but it wasn't that amazing from a actual fantasy point points like projection. He wasn't winning you weeks. He wasn't winning you the year. Like he was a guy you could start and feel good about, but he wasn't amazing as an outlier. There is a chance that you just have like, not a Puka, but you have a guy that just has a crazy workload right out of the gate. Now, some of them might also be in bad situations where it's like, Tate's stuck on the Titans, and well, I mean, who knows? Maybe Cam Ward, maybe it works, but like a lot of the situations aren't going to be very good. But there might be one where it's like, oh, sick. They're not the Rams, but someone that has a good offense and a high pick decides to invest in one of these guys.
I mean, it's tough, especially at the top of the draft. Like, okay, I'm just doing grossest. I mean, maybe people would like the Titans landing spot, depending on the OC hire, and you feel like you're getting the locked in wide receiver one, especially if it's an early first pick. But man, like you could get Browns could take a receiver for sure. You could get
it's like Browns, Titans.
The
are definitely taking
Ravens wouldn't surprise me, and like people would not be excited about that landing spot either. They're kind of in that mid-first range.
The rumors of like a Lamar trade to the Raiders.
Yeah, I'm not buying
you believe in
that? No, I do believe the only stuff I believe about Baltimore is like Harbaugh and Lamar not getting along, or there being like differences in how they want to handle or go about things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really buy just teams do not let Lamar Jackson go.
I was looking at this at Tankathon at their mock draft just to see potential landing spots. They had Jeremiah Love going 8th overall to the Saints, one pick ahead of the Chiefs. And I feel like everyone is like, in real life that would be nice, but for fantasy football, obviously Jeremiah Love on the Chiefs is like the dream we've all been waiting of. It's what Clyde Edwards-Helaire should have been.
That would be a crazy 8th pick, especially all the reports that would come out of like, if we get Andy Reid smacking a table or something.
Shuck and Love.
Shuck and Love.
What's better than Mahomes and Love? Shuck and Love.
There we go. Yeah, and for this is an interesting comment too. I hope neither I'm rich. I didn't mean to click that one, but it is. All right, man, you ever have a chat message in your mind, and you're ready to connect it to what you're showing on the screen? Everything's going great in the brain, and then you have to put it into the universe. The viewers are watching, and now you still can't find it, even though you're doing a little bit explaining how you can't find it.
Is it the thoughts on Parker Washington at this point?
Tyson
like
Tate
off the track.
No, it was off the track. Tyson Tate getting mocked like they're MHJ neighbors, which I have seen a lot of, like Tyson Tate both being top 6-7 picks. Wow, I did not mean to do that. And I am not a defensive guy, especially in college for sure. Like I know like Arvo Reese, I know Caleb Downs, I know some of these big names. I'm not as familiar with the offensive line class too. So when it comes to like first round is very tough. Like you'll hear it this NFL draft season where teams will tell you how many like first round grades they have on players, and it's never 32. Like it's never like these are the 32 like first round players.
19.
Right. So that is kind of the tough thing too when you come to some of these skill positions. Like I think teams are more likely to take the receivers and the Jeremiah Loves and maybe some of these tight ends when, the class isn't, it's not jumping out to you, all the Aiden Hutchinsons and, a bunch of quarterbacks at the top of the class or something that are.
And Aiden Hutchinson, I
just had to think about the last dominant defensive player to go early. All right, classic. All right, here we go. I'm coming up too. I see some messages that I missed while I was doing my my little bit there. 102 is best player available. Fernando, or the best of the big three. And I think this is kind of goes back to the quarterback conversation we've had, which I'm very, very fascinated to do some mock startups this offseason and get to look at where quarterbacks go. And I kind of want to, in my own personal sick and twisted mind, see how hard I can push quarterback in some of these startups, and how I would go about repairing it too, in my mind, if I like Went into a league where my starting quarterback was Geno Smith. We'll see if they give him, maybe he's the quarterback at the start of the season for a couple of games. But all right, no, I made it back. My brain's back. I do think that I'm going to end up pushing Fernando Mendoza down a little bit. Nothing to do with like the prospect himself, but more so to do. Oh my gosh, look at these. Oh, these are just their stats. Okay, sorry. More so to do with my. You don't want to do too many things that are just what happened last year, right? Where it's like, if I did a startup like this and waited on quarterback and took these specific players instead of these players, think about how different the season would have gone. But to me, I think waiting on quarterback, there's just a lot more flexibility. Like, it was very hard to move Cam Ward in season, right? It was very hard to move JJ McCarthy, obviously, in season. But think about how easily it would have been for you to move Ikbuka at times in season, T-Mac at times in season after these blow-up games for these rookie receivers. So I probably, depending on how landing spots look in draft capital, if we're talking like early to mid first for these receivers, I just couldn't see myself taking a quarterback unless I thought Mendoza had like crazy Jaden Daniels rushing upside, or was like I thought had like Drake May stud upside.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree. I mean, you kind of stole my thunder.
I did.
You took us on a journey there. But,
I did the classic. The will is asking a question to your co-host, giving your own take, and then asking the question again. That's the will. So Jeremy, go ahead. Unless you want me to take this one too.
Well, yeah. But I mean, I agree. I think we saw it with Cam Ward. I think the only reason I would take him 1 or 2 is if I'm in love with the prospect, or I am going to start him right away. I don't really like having super expensive speculative quarterbacks, right? Like, I want my quarterbacks to either be I'm paying for the price of the big guys, or I am just going with whatever's out there, right? I'll just start Tua or Kyler or whatever. Because realistically, they will probably score the same as Fernando. Now, Fernando has the job security, but I don't know if him on the Raiders, which are got to do a full rebuild, are going to be able to like put together a solid, productive fantasy football season that's difference making. Whereas I can see more avenues to sell, like you mentioned, Tate, Tyson, and Mekhi Lemon, who's probably also going to get top 16 or so draft capital. And that, to me, I'm like, those guys just have a much higher upside versus, someone like we saw with Cam Ward, which I think Fernando Mendoza, before the playoffs, everyone was like, he's worse than Cam Ward. I think people are probably now like, I lean Mendoza just because he's put together a string of phenomenal games, won the Natty. We all saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think he's like a Joe Burrow or a Justin Herbert or like a Josh Allen, Lamar. Like there's
he was looking like Josh Allen now on that Josh Allen.
That one run was phenomenal.
That was pretty sick.
And that one run was special.
Elite post game interviews as well.
There is it's just way easier to sell wide receivers as well. Usually you play in a league that has multiple flex spots. You play in a league that has multiple wide receiver spots. Everyone needs a good wide receiver. They're a lot easier to move. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I would only take them if I'm like, I don't want to have to make a trade for a quarterback, and I'll just live with the Mendoza experience. And maybe it pans out and it's awesome. But I'd much more rather take like a Ty Simpson or Trinidad in the early second and ride with that, because my investment into those players is going to be much lower, and they could totally have that Jackson Dart type of year where they get pooped on and then they turn into something that at the end of the year is at least producing, but you didn't have to spend the 102 to get.
Yeah. All right, I do see a trade. I scrolled up a little bit. What up, Biggie? Is this an overpay?
Biggie.
Jordan Love, Matthew Golden, the 112, and a mid to late 27 first for Joe Burrow, Dalton Schultz, the 212, and a mid to late 27 second. Ooh, I mean, you're looking at, I mean, it is the 112 and the 27 first is mid to late, but it is Love too late first for Burrow. 2 seconds. This is like, and maybe it's a cop out because on these close ones, I always like lean into this. But I would love to see this roster and think about, is this the best way to use my mid to late 27 first? Which, yes, mid to late in my mind right now, but to other people is, that could be a 27 mid first, and that carries a lot of weight in the trade market. I'd be curious to see the rest of the roster just to see if this is the best use. And can I go up to a different quarterback than Joe Burrow, even though I love Joe Burrow?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be a slight overpay. I do think there's certain things, like if it's a significant tight end premium, Dalton Schultz becomes much more of a, oh, this guy I can flex. This is a guy that can confidently start over a Matthew Golden, and probably the 112. So I don't hate it. I'm not the biggest Joe Burrow, let me pay the sticker price on Joe Burrow type of guys. But I think it's fine. I probably wouldn't have done it myself just because 2 first-round picks out the door is a big price tag. But if Dalton Schultz does have a good tight end premium attached to him, he does carry more weight than if it's just a small premium or no premium at all.
Yeah. Ray Rue, wide receivers drafted in the top 5 last 20 years. Also, I officially started it. I said I was going to start it a couple weeks ago, but I officially have a Google Drive document that is solely focused on prospecting for rookies for this offseason. So it's going to be kind of interesting. I don't know exactly the way I want to go about it. I'm like a casual. I've been like a casual analyst in terms of like watching college film. Like it's very hard. I don't know if you feel the same way, Jeremy, or if other people who are like deep into Dynasty and care a lot about the rookie classes. It's hard for me to stay real in tune with like all top prospects through the college football season, especially with how much changes, that I tend to just push it off until after the Super Bowl. But there you go. There's the Will prospect update nobody asked for. Wide receivers drafted in the top 5 last 20 years. Travis. I also see that you have bust labeled, but not for Travis. Let's go. MHJ. Chase. Corey Davis bust. I think that Corey Davis gets a relative bust. I think upside expectations. If we're labeling this as like stud smash fantasy assets, yes. Amari Cooper, Sammy Watkins. I'm going to put that in the same tough like injury bust stuff for Sammy Watkins. Justin Blackman. I also could do some interesting conversations about AJ Green, Megatron. Pretty good hit rate. Top 5.
Yeah, I think too, it's like, this is if you held the bag going all the way down with the ship. All these players, including Marv right now, all have exit ramps if you really need it.
Yeah.
So to me, it's just like the insulation of that. Like, imagine trading Cam Ward right now. So you're not getting anything, even though he showed promise at the end of the year, and it's going to get better.
Yeah.
It's just no one really wants to deal with that. That's why, to me, I'm like, I'm not as eager to take a quarterback over one of these guys because, like, the hit rate might be, 60% maybe? But there's so many times I could have just been like, well, I didn't really like this year. I can always just trade him for a late first or something.
Yeah.
Like, even now, I posted on my socials, I posted the Marvin Harrison Jr. for 2 early seconds. Everyone's like, dude, no one would take this trade. Well, are you serious? And I'm like, I mean, if you're out of Marv, like you're like, that's kind of the price, but that goes to show that he has so much insulation, even though he's basically done nothing of value, like outside of like what a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 does. So you have, you have chances to get out. You can get out of your Travis Hunter like Will did after pounding the drum for Travis Hunter all year. He's like, I'm getting out. First chance he can get.
Sometimes you get out on Colston Loveland, though, which is what I also did in that league. Buy high on Colston Loveland, draft Mekhi Lemon. Thank me later. I am kind of with it. I like all 3 receivers. I tend to slightly lean Lemon. And okay, I know it's the classic. It is kind of an injury thing for me. I don't like to factor in like injury risk players too much unless it's something that is like blatant and obvious, because a lot of that stuff is pretty random. But I think the Tyson history versus Lemon has me going that way.
Also, him playing
same here.
On the Giants would suck, just given how ACLs fare on that field.
Yeah, we'll see. Putting that list made me want to trade for Travis. Too bad I have 100% exposure. Yeah, the other thing too that we talk about a lot that I am starting to like really try to ingrain in my own brain is it doesn't have to be X player. So like in terms of, you know, if you believe in a player or you're at a certain point where you can move them for something that makes more sense for your roster, like it doesn't have to be Marv. Even if you think Marv is undervalued, like if you're able to get cash out price that makes more sense, you don't even have to make the bet. That is so much flexibility upside. Tyson goes top 5. That means the medicals are cleared. Yeah, I mean 100%. Like if a receiver's like, I mean, if Tyson's like goes 4th and Lemon falls to the early teens, then like, yeah, I'm probably reconsidering where I'm at in terms of expectations for the players. It's just more of if they all go in a similar range, early first, like the projections have, I'm probably leaving in Lemon, but I like them all. That didn't.
The nice part is we can wait on the NFL to tell us what's what by where they take everyone.
I used to believe in Olave, but injuries changed that. Yeah, that's. I mean, this was a good year to be back in on Olave.
Like wide receiver 8 or something.
Very, very underappreciated, I think, because it was a lot of crazy I mean, he had a couple of blow up games, but not the traditional wide receiver 8 season. If Makai Lemon goes top 5,
I think we're gonna hold you to that.
I mean, you get Mendoza. I think you get Reese. I don't know enough about some of these other defensive prospects to like put them up against the receivers who I like and have watched a lot closer this year.
Will probably go as well.
Bain, and then I know a lot of people like Downs, but you just don't see safeties go that high. And so it would just be. I'm not going to pretend to be confident about my offensive line min rankings. 2 OTs. It's also kind of tough for me to do the like Jeremiah Love versus these receivers. And it's a little team specific too. Like when you're looking at some of these teams that could take these players, just because I love Jeremiah Love. He is like Genty tier hype for me in terms of I have the 101.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he is a. I'm not going to overthink it. You know, it's the 10 minutes is on the clock and you already turn in the card. You're not even fielding offers. You just take Jeremiah Love and enjoy that experience.
I know. I have the 101 in the Bravo Daddy League. I did a 1-year punt out of the startup heading into the season, and at no point has my mind been to what could I get for this 101 to like alter this roster. It has always been on how do I build around Jeremiah Love with the rest of these first round picks.
Yeah, you're like, and the team I
put together. Got MHA and Hunter on 2 of my big money leagues. Nobody else likes them, so please be hit. Hey, there you go. I mean, that's the thing too. Like I am totally down, especially players like Marv that you know are at least going to have the opportunity to be in this role. Like it would shock me. Say what you will about Marvin Harrison Jr. If he is not, 80% route guy for the Cardinals for the next, 3-4 seasons, I would be stunned. So like those kind of players, I'm totally fine making cheap bets like those 2 seconds you were talking about. It's just a matter of people that are like, I believe in Marv. I'm sending my random 27 first for him right now because imagine the hit. It's like, why does it have to be Marv? That's the why does it have to be for those kind of moves. Oh, Kyle.
Well, I have a question for you.
No, you don't. Unless it's this. No, okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
But
I
I was
apologize.
like, I wanted to get it before it went off the top of the screen.
Oh gosh, yeah. Please do that because I am not up there.
Thoughts on Parker Washington?
Yeah,
He's basically been playing like a wide receiver one in the second half of the season. Are
I
you buying the Parker Washington hype?
I am kind of specifically from the perspective of kind of like the Liam Cohen, Trevor Lawrence marriage, and I think that
Mm-hmm.
another part of like the BTJ saga is just that Parker Washington, I think, wins in ways that Trevor Lawrence wants to play NFL quarterback. Like I don't really think T-Law, because I'm buying Travis. Oh man, Ray, you're gonna put me in a tough spot if we start doing this. I just think that
Ray, you're buying a cornerback? You play in the IDP league?
I just I kind of want to look at this closer because this is kind of this is like I have like takes that I'm like 50 to 80% sure are backed by stats and reality, and this is one of those where I assume that in terms of like now I have to take a look at this. Now that I've yapped this much about it, I will be taking a look at like BTJ versus Parker Washington, just kind of like the heat map stuff for their routes. But that's kind of my assumption and belief is that
Would you
I'm
do
in on
Parker Washington for Tajay Spears in a 303? 14 team start 10, super flex, half PPR.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do much more than that because I kind of do like having Tajay Spears types, especially when we'll see what happens with the Titans backfield.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I like that.
Super flex, 12 team start 10, full PPR. Parker Washington in the 111. Or yours truly, Jamison Williams in the 27 third.
I think it's got to be Parker Washington in the 111. I do love JMO. He wants to get bigger. I don't know if you guys are seeing all the off-season improvement reports coming out. JMO wants to get bigger.
I do like Parker Washington. I feel like he is a replaceable, not a bad way, like in a Wayndell Robinson way.
Oh yeah,
wide receiver that you can slot in and feel good about, and that's why like he's someone I'm not focused on the names as much as like, oh, does the guy undervalue him? Because I guarantee the guy that owns Parker Washington in your league might be like, no, he's worth a first. And you're like, okay, never mind. But the guy that owns Wayndell Robinson might be like, nah, I'm sick of him. Get him off my team. Or the guy that owns Jacoby Myers. Or the guy, there's so many of those types of players. And I do like those guys because eventually you can find somebody that's like some of these deals are like those ones I mentioned. And other ones are like Jalen Knoll in a third. And I'm like, yeah, I would definitely take Parker Washington, who's scoring like 15, 16 points a game. Yeah, but then you find other ones that are like, oh, where's it at? I saw it was Quinshon Judkins for Parker Washington in a third. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, I wouldn't go that far.
All right. I just Quinshon Judkins was in Kyle's question that he had asked in the Discord. I'm gonna pull that up. Want to hit the good evening, good people. What is up, Sean? How we doing?
Sean's in the chat. Shout outs.
All right. I need you to stay with me on this one.
Owen in the chat. Shout outs.
Shout out Owen. What's up, Owen? I need you to stay with me on this because when I was putting this together, it did take me a minute to follow. But what you are going to look at is the tiered PPR and then the first down bonus for each of these positions. Okay. So I'm going to read it across. And when you look at the numbers, those are associated with first running back, then wide receiver, then tight end. Okay. So for running backs, 0.5 and then 0.25. So this is the tiered PPR and then the first down bonus. Wide receivers get 0.5, 0.5. Tight ends get full point. So the trade is got the 102, Tyreek Hill, and the 201 for Judkins, the 110, and the 310. That 102 versus Judkins in the 110. 310.
I think I like it because you're going to get a shot at one of the top wide receivers. And in this type of tiered PPR format, the running backs aren't going to have the big advantage or as big of an advantage if, the first down were even. And then you can also add, I mean, I think the king of this format is going to be tight ends. If you have tight ends that are consistently catching enough passes, they're going to be smoking all these other positions because they're going to get a full point for first down and they're going to get a full point for every catch.
Mm-hmm.
So my plan would be like, how do I, can I flip the 201 for a tight end or something? Like, how does your market value tight ends? Because you might be able to pick up those Dalton Schultz or something like that you might not think is an exciting piece, but could be a very valuable player in this type of format.
This is the best time, like the best feeling in the world for like Dynasty degenerate who is like sad about the NFL season ending is January 20th, seeing the names being put to like the 201 and the 310. Oh, it gets me going. We got Nussmeier chilling there at the 310. All right. Tyson, Tyreek, Coleman for Judkins, Boston, Nussmeier. I am also probably taking the 102 side. I think it's very close, especially when I think about the receiver. I think when you start to put the names to it, it gets tough because you're putting a receiver who is a rookie compared to a running back who we're pretty confident has a role that is going to generate first down attempt carries. Maybe not a ton, the Cleveland Browns, maybe not a lot of first down conversion carries, but at least we'll be put in that role to do that. And you're also getting the 110 back as well. But I do think that the upside, the 102 holds where you do miss out on Love, who is a smash in this format, but getting the best landing spot for either of these receivers, I think gives you the flexibility that maybe the Judkins and the 110 don't give you. So I'm leaning a little bit into that to like justify taking that side of the trade because I do like Judkins.
Judkins is also going to be out for a while. Like he's not going to come back right away.
You don't really get the PPR upside, or at least we didn't see it this year.
Shot.
Yeah, with the tiered PPR stuff, like you're still matching the receivers, running backs and wide receivers. So I do kind of like my running backs to be catching that ball. Yeah. Hey man, modern science. Kittle's going to be back week 1. Mark my words. Pin this YouTube video.
I got a question for you.
Yeah. Can we go full screen for this?
Are we keeping Egbuka or Mbuka?
I saw the is this from the Rob Gronkowski called him Emeka Egbegbu, I think was the.
That was so bad. Yeah.
It was so good. And then my favorite part of that, my friend sent me that. Gronk proceeds to go, I'm confusing myself. And then like didn't explain like what the confusion is other than just getting the name fully wrong. But love Gronk. Okay. Yeah, man.
Gronk is something.
Here's the tough thing though. Cause we got the I'm keeping Egbuka. So you have let me get my stars aligned. That's not the phrase. Wait, where is I wanted to pull up the Egbuka one. I lost it. Hater Maker, where are you? Oh, here we go.
Click it.
Are we keeping Egbuka? We got the sell Egbuka, sell. I mean, what is? I do need to check this. I don't want to just do this just because I'm panhandling the site. What's it called? But I do want to look at some of these Egbuka trades. All right, 10 by 11. 110, 107, 203 for Egbuka. Oh, squint your eyes. Rayru, Travis Hunter in a second, or Egbuka.
I feel like I'd take Egbuka there.
I'm not.
Travis Hunter is too much of like a potential like zero.
Yeah, it is a 12 by 11, which makes that second feel a little bit stronger. Like that is a piece.
Igbuka in a second for George Pickens.
12/8. 12/8 is kind of the classic let me use my seconds to like build out the roster I feel the best about. But I don't know if that's the trade I want to do, even though I do like Pickens. Let me find one I can feel. I gotta feel confident about something.
Jalen Coker in the 27 first.
Whoa. Oh, I had a juicy one. Wait. Jalen Coker in 27 first? Oh, dude, you're putting the... Can you stop putting my feet to the fire? I am an Igbuka believer, and I do think there's... the McMillan stuff is just kind of scary. All right, any of the scary prices I'll get out. So, like... All right, here's one. 102 or Igbuka in a 27 first. I think I might take Igbuka in a 27 first.
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
10/12. Jeez, this one.
Currently, Igbuka is wide receiver 13 on Dynasty Daddy. So he's above Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Marvin Harrison, and Lab McConkey. Does this sound about right? You still taking? Would you reorder any of those?
Yeah, I guess this is probably where he should be. Would you rather have Garrett Wilson or Igbuka right now? You don't get to know the Jets starting quarterback.
Wilson.
Okay. Yeah, I think so too.
I trust Garrett Wilson will at least get catches even if the quarterback stinks.
Would you move Igbuka below Olave?
Probably, I think. I think I would have Igbuka
ahead of Marv.
Yeah, definitely ahead of Marv.
And then you get to Lad.
I think about wide receiver 15. I think is about fair.
Yeah, I think
Olave killed it once Shuck got going. Finished the year week 15, 17.5 points. Week 16, 31.8 points. Week 17, 21.9 points. I mean, just absolutely scorched everyone. And who's the other one? Garrett Wilson. I mean, Garrett Wilson was banged up all year, but I mean, he always scores points. It's not like you just have these weird games with Igbuka where he does nothing.
Yeah.
I just don't want that. I don't want to be like, I have an expensive player that does nothing. It's one thing if I have a bad player it's not like Mac Hollins, right? Where I've just picked him up off waivers. I'm desperation starting him. If I'm having a guy that's worth a first plus on my roster and he could put up an absolute dud, the first thing I'm thinking about is like, how do I get off of that guy?
Yeah. All right, I'm putting your feet to the fire, Ray Roo. I guess Garrett Wilson will get Trinidaded. So that's one upside. There you go. All right, Garrett Wilson at 14 is too high.
Using that word is like
it's a verb. We have never been like too pro Garrett Wilson, but who below Garrett Wilson right now would you have ahead? Because I think it immediately gets tough. I might have Olave.
Yeah, below. I think Olave, you have to with the way Shuck and Olave were looking. Like they were scoring points. I don't really care about the injury stuff.
Yeah. I am a Lad believer. I will give you that. What give me Ray Roo as a fellow Travis Hunter has heard us both. What is the BTJ? What's the BTJ upside case? Where are you at emotionally? I need to know where the brains are at.
BTJ.
The BTJ hive, because I'm with it. I have not left the BTJ hive. I just need to know what we're blaming it on, so we can be aligned.
Let's get our stories aligned. It's like a meeting outside the principal office.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have to have the same stories here.
We don't want to be on Twitter and it's like some people are saying it's Liam Cohen. Some people are saying that
call me crazy. I think AJ Brown. AJ Brown, I think I put.
Wow.
Right now he's wide receiver 19, but I mean he finished the year pretty solid, and he might be in a completely new situation. And you're telling me if Buffalo trades for AJ Brown or something, like
he's probably
there's an easy way that his value gets bumped.
He's probably gone, but worst case, new OC. So yeah, all right. Myers washed. Washington is a Jag. BTJ and Hunter, RT and Jamar. All right, this sentence I want this to be the truth. Okay, this might be the
5K for Trevor.
The most difficult part. Honestly, Liam Cohen was kind of cooking with those boys. He was getting Trevor all he could get. Yeah, 102 for Ibuka and a 27 first, and a second for Pickens. Ibuka are the big three. I think if you get top 15 landing spots, and when I say the run out, I don't mean in terms of like I need my rookie wide receivers to be averaging 16 points per game out of the gate, but the run out in terms of what the stories people tell themselves. So like the run out for the Browns wide receiver one is like, this is the guy. Like Jerry Jeudy, okay, Harold Fannin, but Titans, same kind of deal. Like the Ibuka run out was, and honestly the Packers as well, like crowded receiver room. It might get a little bit closer, but I'm probably taking top 12 draft capital, any of those guys over Ibuka. We do have one here. What's up, no name? I got Allen, Hurts, Gibbs, Achane, Puka, Amonra, Jefferson, McBride at 10 by 10 with the 103, 108, and 227 firsts. Last two start spots are blank. What do you recommend? Coker and running back depth on bench. So last two start spots, I assume these are flexes. You have 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, probably 2 flex spots. Mm-hmm. I mean, 103.
Is this recommendations on draft picks, I assume?
I think it's just probably a general, like, what would be your plan to, like, fill out, considering these picks that I have? I mean, it's a pretty crazy team. Yeah, Allen, Hurts, Gibbs, Achane, Puka, Amonra, JJ McBride. Would you even go? I mean, I would probably try to find a way to fill out this lineup without moving my 27 firsts. Like, I don't even mind 103 is my favorite of who's ever there from those receivers.
Do you try to package the 103 and the 108 and get up to Jeremiah Love? Because it is a 10 by 10.
I'd love to. Would you do
so like
the 103?
You just want guaranteed locks.
103 and a 27 first. Is that too much?
Would you do that for Love?
I could see myself doing it in this like 10 by 10, crazy roster. Ooh, you still get a 27 first in your back pocket. I'm probably doing it.
You send that 108 for Ibuka.
And you have Puka, Amonra, Jefferson, McBride. Coker, I like the Coker and RB depth on bench. Like, I assume there's some decent names there. Like, usually, maybe not. Maybe if you like consolidate this much.
And,
yeah.
Another guy, Woody Marks.
I would be willing to do the 103 and a 27 first for Love.
Yes, we are talking
not Jordan Love.
No. To clarify. Yes.
No, you got Allen and Hurts. You're good. You're good. What is up? Just got here. Sorry if I already discussed, but are we pretty much all Chargers a must buy next year? Gatson is the new Waller, Hampton's new Achane, Ladd is the Waddle, etc. We kind of did a little bit. Jeremy was the voice of. What's the voice of reason? But like, Jeremy was the voice of boring.
I feel like it was a misdirection. I was like, I'm in, but not for the reason you think.
We were both very much like we were excited about the Chargers next season purely off of O-line health issues. But I think it cannot be a negative. Like the run game McDaniels has had in the past. You get Justin Herbert. That's kind of an interesting little you get the Dolphins Chargers Tua Herbert.
Does that mean
class.
Herbert becomes Tua?
Dang.
I don't know if I like that.
And then who's Malik Washington? Trey Harris?
QJ?
No, QJ is tall Tyreek.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
KLS, there we go. Okay, gosh, dude, man, all that KLS, I was sniping in the fourth.
The KLS draft. Preseason hype. He almost wrote top 10 dynasty wide receivers.
I legitimately think there is a universe. I forgot, dude. They love Trey Harris. Like Trey Harris is not going away. I don't think he's ever going to surpass and be like even post.
We're
Keenan.
forgetting about wide receiver 1 though, Keenan Allen. What if he comes back?
Yeah. I think even, well, I mean, especially in post Keenan Allen, you're still going to see Trey Harris, but I mean, Trey Harris is one of the reasons Keenan was like a 50% snapshot guy. Like they like Trey Harris's blocking. He's good. Yeah, it's tough too, especially for these receivers that are like, we put in a box for their rookie season that are like post 4th round undrafted free agents that people have hype on that do stuff in the preseason. I think KLS is a good player. It's just being a meaningful fantasy player is a different threshold. Lad can be back. I think the offensive line is a big thing too for the Ladster. Like I'm a big believer in the Chargers offense. Who
I think the biggest impact to the Chargers offense was not having their tackles, especially for like QJ, who is wide receiver 4 or whatever to start the year, because they were able to push the ball down the field. Without the tackles, they weren't able to actually push the ball down, go for those big home runs that QJ was very good at. So I think QJ is someone that if I can get for cheap, I might as well stash him. Like, to me, it's like, I don't know who's going to pop.
I was going to ask who you would overpay for.
Do I want to pay the BTJ price, or do I want to pay the Parker Washington price? Do I want to pay the Lad price, or do I want to pay the QJ price? I want a piece of the offense. I don't know who it will be. I'm probably just going to try to buy the cheapest one versus saying, let me go all in on Lad and then have Keenan Allen get the rollout over Lad.
Justin Herbert or Caleb Williams?
What Dynasty Jake said.
Also, what up, Spock? Who would you rather have, Caleb or JD5? 4-point pass touchdown, -1 interception, no PPR. I'm still Jaden Daniels. I love Caleb and think he is rightfully ranked like towards like the QB 10 spot. But Jaden Daniels, like, I know the season was disappointing and the injury stuff is scary, but please, I beg you, pull up a Jaden Daniels. Do the classic boomer analysis. Just go to sleeper.com, open the Sleeper app on your phone, and just like click on some Jaden Daniels game logs. Like, any quarterback that has like 12 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown in their bag, I just can't. I can't move for Caleb Williams types.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like, do you want $100 that's brand new or $100 that's been wrinkled in someone's pocket? At the end of the day, you're still happy with both. You know, like, it's still a win in both teams.
You lost me for a second, but I'm with it.
I pulled you back.
The analogy.
I do lean JD5, but both are amazing.
Honestly, Kyle, the boomer analysis, as the humble genius, I do have to come forth and say that all of us,
the humble genius,
don't know anything, but we do, you know? And the first thing that you have to learn is that you don't know anything. There was something.
Speaking of humble
Caleb.
Genius, I wanted to hit this one before it goes off the screen.
Yeah.
Statue 1K said, absolutely love your guys' website. Do you have anywhere I could read more on y'all's background lore? I'm so curious. I didn't know we need like a Wikipedia page.
Dang. The Will lore would be
humble genius.
Would be a very, I mean, the Will lore probably should happen on like a best ball stream for next year versus me doing the breakdown right now. I've got a funny lore. I've got some. I'm sure you've got interesting lore. You probably have the lore people care about more. The person that actually made the dynasty-daddy.com site.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what lore, like, is it Easter eggs or
let's
like,
do no, Jeremy. Here's what we're doing. I clicked off the statue comment, trying to find it for you. Just forget about it. We're doing the thing where you're in a new class or something and everyone's got to do a fun fact about themselves. Give me one lore drop. It doesn't have to be, it can be anything. Maybe even the more random, the better. I can go first if you're not ready.
You go first to set the tone, because I don't want to be like,
Okay. Here's the one.
Not picking up what you're putting down.
Here's the one lore drop. I am a marketing guy, and I am a gamer, but I was not a big mobile gamer. But when TikTok, I was gonna say came out, but like when TikTok was like becoming popular in the Americas, I sent an email to all of these like mobile gaming like YouTubers and was like, you need to be posting your YouTube stuff on TikTok. This is where all of your 12 to 15-year-old audience will be for the next 4 years. I called my shot. And I was the TikTok editor for Chief Pat, 2.46 million subscribers on YouTube. Shout out to Chief Pat, cool guy. I don't want to say, I'm just going to say that it's not for everyone. And by not for everyone, I think you're probably, if you're still in middle school, it might be for you. I don't know. I'm not trying to sound rude. How do I communicate that it's a younger audience, but not in a weird way. But I was the TikTok editor for like 2 years. There you go. There's a Will Lore piece. Clash of Clans, yeah. So Brawl Stars. Brawl Stars is a good one. It's like League of Legends on your phone.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
True. Did I give you enough time?
I will say, yeah, I think I didn't know if it should be like on topic or not. I will say too, before we get into it all.
I was very off topic.
Will followed a similar tactic when joining Dynasty Daddy, because you just cold called, emailed me.
You should.
And you're like, here's the things I've done. Like, I cut up a couple samples of like some of the videos that I was just throwing together by myself.
Marketing guy.
Yeah, you know how to market yourself.
That would be a funny watch, sure. Because it very much like cold call in the purest form of cold call. Like Jeremy searching his inbox for the name Will would not find any emails from me. That's how cold call that was. That would be a funny watch.
I never met you until you were just like cold call me. But something too, I think is like, it was nice because a lot of times people will be like, oh, I'd love to like get involved if there's anything. But I'm always like, okay, well then I have to find what you want to do and like figure it all out. But you were like, here's what I can do. Here's how you kind of set up a roadmap of like, this is what I want to do and this is how we can do it. And I was like, okay, that's awesome. Because then it takes some of the onus off of me to be like, how do I use this person that wants to contribute, to help building the community and all that.
And I tricked him.
So, you tricked him. You got me. You got me good.
You
tricked me into weekly live streams.
We didn't do the breakdown. We are still doing the weekly live streams, but especially post Super Bowl is when we are really going to start hitting the Dynasty off-season rookie content stuff. So stay tuned for that. There's the marketing.
Videos will be back.
Marketing would be proud of myself for saying that. So stay tuned.
I guess my lore, so it doesn't take up half the show, but my first hit was actually not Dynasty Daddy. I started programming back in middle school on a site called scratch.mit. And I was a very old school creator there, and I would make like Mario clones. And it's very builder block code based stuff. Like that's how I taught myself the code. And those games got super popular. And I mean, not as popular as Dynasty Daddy now, but back then, I mean, it's like 100,000 views on a random website. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And if I still go back there today, my inbox is full of people being like, "Are you dead? Are you coming back?" And I'm like, man, I have a job, man. Like, I can't be dragging blocks around the program anymore. But yeah, that was my first hit. I was like, I sat there. I was like 10 years. I remember it was a snow day, and I made one of my favorite games is Paper Mario 1,000 Year Door.
Banger
for the GameCube. Absolute banger. So I made a Paper Mario game that's nothing like the actual game, but I was just like bored. It was a snow day. That game ripped, and I still remember just like being like 11, laying in like the playroom in my childhood house, like typing on a little laptop, making that game. But I go back and people are like, are you gonna make another one? Are you gonna make another one? Are you dead? And sometimes I just wave. I'll just like do a little wave emoji, and everyone's like, oh my gosh, follow me, follow you, all that stuff.
Oh, this is a great question. I have my answer. I do want to come up with a more fun answer, because the greatest game and my favorite game of all time is Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube, and it is not particularly close.
Legend.
I do have to say that. I'll hand it over to you while I think of another fun answer, but yeah.
Well, I mean, the problem is I also learned how to wave dash, and now I know that Melee is also the best
Once
game.
that happens, that is the best game. Like once.
Yeah, it's like once it clicks, it's like, it's a different level. I don't know. Becca always gets mad at me because she's like, "What's your favorite game?" And I list off like 12 games. I'm like, all these games are awesome. It's hard to pick one.
Do you have a recent favorite? Like something you played recently that was?
I started Claire Obscure Expedition 33, and I've enjoyed that so far. I'm only in Act 2. I just started Act 2, so I still have ways to go. But that game to me, I'm like, okay, I get the hype around it.
Yeah.
My goal, one of my goals for this year, because when you got Dynasty content, Dynasty leagues, and you got Dynasty Daddy, and you got work, and you got everything else, it's like, I'm like, wait a minute, I need to carve out some time for me to just play a game.
There you go. Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm trying to play more, catch up on some of my backlog. But that's probably a more recent one that I'm like, okay, this game's really interesting. I also really enjoyed Donkey Kong Bonanza on the Switch too. That one, that was a fun one. Kind of scratched that collectathon 3D platformer type game.
There you go. Yeah, I started playing Hearthstone in college, and that was around the time I got really into Melee, and I would go to tournaments for both of those games, and it kind of, I don't want to say ruined, because I love trying to climb leaderboards and going to tournaments and playing games, but I've been playing a lot less story games, I feel like, since I got into that, because my gaming brain turned into, how do I prove to a stranger on the other side of the internet that I am better than them at this game, and how do I continue to do that every single day? So I've been playing a lot of Rocket League. Let's go. Yeah, Legend every month. Let's go. Dang. I
played a ton of Warzone and all those battle royales, like Fortnite back in college. I was grinding, but now I'm I can't keep up with the kids anymore. I don't got that twitch, I don't got that that two-step that those kids have now. I can't crank 90s like I used to.
All right, the last gaming note. Actually, maybe not the last one. I kind of like doing these. But I do want to say, Echelon, have you played any of the Bazaar, the game that Rainad worked on? I know a lot of Hearthstone people have played that a little bit, and I've kind of liked it too, because it's kind of a cool game where you are playing against other people, but it's against their ghosts. So you can stop. You do runs of this game, and you stop and can come back to it whenever you want, because you're playing other people but the ghost characters. All right, there we go. That's enough. Yeah,
that sounds interesting. We'll have to make a gaming channel.
I had a this might be a Will Jeremy story for later. That sounded kind of weird. I got to work on sometimes what I do is my mouth will stop my thoughts, and I think I need to get the cutoff a little bit sooner. Ooh, original Super Smash Bros. On N64 was the best. Okay, it was good. All right. Let me say something. And guys, don't hear what I'm not saying. Just give me a second here. N64.
The suspense.
Had some banger games. But can we all agree?
Well, I mean, it has the best game, right? It has a Ocarina of Time. It's hard to.
This controller. What are we doing?
Oh, the controller.
This is bottom
This
3
is the
controllers for me
Travis
of all
Hunter
time.
of video game controllers. You're like, how do I hold this? Like, what position do you play?
Dude, the third leg controller. I just
The Greg Olson controller.
this one, and then just to like, if we're talking upgrade, I mean, to go from that to this, just the greatest controller
I
ever
already
made.
know what you're gonna pull up. It's the best controller of all time.
Oh, so good, banger, the goat.
We'll have to do a melee stream. Get the people going.
Will Jeremy Iron Man answer your dynasty questions?
If you
Out about
thought
this, okay.
14 viewers is bad, just wait till it's all it is GameCube clicking sounds.
Nah, dude, we'll lose the dynasty viewers, and then we'll get a couple melee viewers, and then they'll leave because they're like, these guys.
There might be a small overlap. The craziest thing though is like Melee's a pretty niche game, right? Like it has a big scene ish, but it's still small. I had no idea Will was like a Melee junkie.
Oh.
Until like we were on a stream together, and you're just like, "Oh yeah, Melee," and I'm like, "What? Like, how did you just randomly like this, randomly cold called, just cold emailed, and it's like, oh, also like my favorite game is the same game as yours, and I also am addicted to fantasy football,
dude.
It's like, man, they just make us some factories, I guess.
Let's go. I will happily share what I'm sure is a very like cringy message to look back at, but like, you know what could have stopped me and been like, yeah, it's kind of weird, like this guy doesn't know me. Like, dude, you gotta, well, the worst thing Jeremy could have said is like, LOL, no. That's the worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, the worst thing is I respond as a jerk, but like, again, like that's just not how I am. I always try to
good guy,
even if, like, here's the thing, I'm one guy. I get a lot of random requests for random, very specific features. And what I'll say is I'll add it to the list, you know, and I'm like, if I keep hearing it, then I'm like, okay, this needs to be fixed or this needs to be added, you know, like I'm always going to try to be polite about it. But I mean, I think that email you sent was great. I mean, you cut up sample. Like I was like, you're taking this serious and you have an idea of what you want to do. And I was trying to figure out the content side, and it was a lot because I would record a video and edit it all in like, and it would take half a day for me to get this thing out. And then, it just was so much to burn me out. And then I was like, on top of that, I need to continue to add stuff to this, you know, the site.
Yeah. The Venn diagram of Jeremy's interests and Will's interests is just a circle. I'm sure I could get. We'll see, because I feel like there's certain things that you're like, I know this is my like guilty pleasure, weird media that I consume, but I'm sure a lot of people would say that about competitive Smash Bros. So maybe I'm wrong. In Dynasty Savvy, any advice for small YouTube channels trying to grow in the fantasy space? How about shoot me a DM? You could have the Will Sanders FF. But please, even if you don't want me to be on the show, at least like pretend and then never follow through with it. Like comment and be like, oh yeah, that'd be great, and then like you never have to send me the DM if you don't. Hit
him with the. I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, add it to the list. GoldenEye, ooh, banger. All right.
But I will say one last point going back to the cold message. That's also how I started the site. Yeah, I released it. I posted it on Reddit. I didn't think anyone would really look at it, and here I am today, and here me and Will are staring at a Discord call together. So,
yapping. All right, I am pulling up a big Diaz live stream ask.
Yeah, I think we had 2, but I think you hit that one, the hater maker, right?
Yes. Wait. Yes.
Because that was just the question. I guess we probably need to. Do we ever do the what do we need to go from the 102 to the 101?
Okay. Yeah.
Where is it at? Kyle, I saw him post it twice.
Yeah.
Sorry, we answered the first half of your question, and then you're like, you got to wait an hour to hear the next. What would you take to go from the 102 to the 101?
It's probably really tough at this point because people probably see, right or wrong, they probably see like the 102 to 104 range similarly, just in the sense of like people are probably doing the same kind of calculations we are, that like the general buzz is that 3 potentially early mid first round receivers. I wonder if this is the kind of deal I mean, let me know your thoughts. Do you think that you're more likely to get a 102 to 100 deal done now or post NFL draft landing spots? Because Jeremiah Love might be
now.
He might be out of the question if you get a nuts top 10 landing spot. If you get the Chiefs at 9,
Because I think right now too, like at the 102, everyone thinks there's going to be at least 2 top 10 wide receivers. But what happens if there's only one, or that none of them are top 10? And then we're sitting here being like, oh crap, like all of these guys are a little bit pushed down. Would that impact how the 102 is valued? I'm curious, like, do you think like, I feel like it's kind of like the Ashton Jeanty year. Like in a way, it's like the exact same of like you have this guy that's the obvious number one. And then there's that big gap because like, why would I want the 102 when I could also just do the 103 or the 104? Like everyone kind of admits that, like, this is the issue is like, we got to come to a consensus about pick values. And the community right now is kind of saying top 5 is a lock. 2 through 4 wide receivers are kind of a lock. Now, it depends where the Mendoza piece, like he's kind of the wild card. Does the 101 kind of want Mendoza? Then I think it's more reasonable to trade up because they're going to say, oh, I actually want Mendoza. Let me get this value. Because then if they're going to take Mendoza anyway, they'd rather just get the extra value. But if they're a lock for Jeremiah Love, you're probably going to have to at least add another first, I think. Like a random, it's hard to do a random 27. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
But if it's like a probably late 27 or like a 108 or something this year, you probably need something like that to move up. Just because Jeremiah Love, with the way the game is moving and the way people are focusing at running back, especially, like if you have one of those difference-making running backs, that's the best asset you can have. I don't care about age. I don't care about dynasty value. If you had Jonathan Taylor getting 3 touchdowns a game or whatever, you're like, sick. I won half the games in the regular season. If you had Jahmyr Gibbs not in the playoffs, like you're feeling good about that.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what Jeremiah Love can be. Versus we saw outside of the top wide receivers, the top 7, a huge drop off in terms of wide receiver 2 production this past year. And even with guys like Tet and Igbuka, like they're cool, but like, do you want another guy that scores 4 points or 15? That's probably not as enticing as locking in a true, high end first round running back, which you don't get often.
Yeah. I do want to shout out Becca. I like Animal Crossing. I like Animal Crossing as well. Fun fact, first time I remember crying as a child was when I went to Blockbuster and I got Animal Crossing for my GameCube, and I went home and it wouldn't work. And I did the like, blow on it, wipe the thing, still wasn't working. And I was so pissed. I was so excited to play Animal Crossing. And I looked at it and I was like, this disc looks a little bent. Maybe it's bent and isn't sticking with my GameCube properly. And I proceeded to rip Animal Crossing straight in half. And I was like, I also didn't really understand the like gravity of like, am I going to go to prison? Like it's like
you're like
stolen and broken Blockbuster merchandise.
Federal crime.
I do want to be fully transparent though. I have not played probably since my 3DS. Animal
Oh yeah,
Crossing.
New Leaf.
Yeah, I haven't really played any of the new games. I'm sure I would have a blast. We also had Family Video. That was the classic Will rent place. All right, I have.
We're going a little off the rails, but at Blockbuster, I remember there's Mario Strikers.
Oh,
And I really wanted to own the game, but I didn't have the money for it, so I would just hide it. And then my parents forgot that we rented it.
Oh,
so
dang.
then when
The
we
late
took
fees.
it back, they're like, "Oh, you've already paid for the game."
Did you get to keep it?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
It was a very scratched up version of Mario Strikers.
There you go. There's the strat, guys. Just hide your games.
Yeah. So next time you go to Blockbuster,
yeah, or Mammoth Video. That was that. I think that was actually before Blockbuster. My Mammoth Video.
I will say I do kind of miss Blockbuster. Like it was kind of a fun experience of like going to the store.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole family pick out like the movie, and then you get like snacks and you leave. Like, I mean, obviously streaming is so much easier, but it's not as much of like an experience, I guess.
The Netflix where you would choose what movies you wanted sent to you in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of crazy to me. Dang. I could reminisce, but alas, we need to decide if you would rather have Rome or Scadabo in Dynasty. 12 by 10 Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, and contending.
Let's see, Rome or Scadaboo? Oh wait, this isn't the live stream ask. I'm a
no,
Rome
sorry.
Scadaboo.
I just was doing a last question.
I would probably rather just have Rome. I think that offense is looking high powered. I think DJ Moore is probably on his way out. So mainly that's a statement of all the people that are scared Luther Burden's going to come from Rome Odunze's spot. I'm not too worried. Lock me in with that high end wide receiver. I can find running back production elsewhere. New coach
coming off an injury.
New York as well. We don't know if he's going to be tied to a guy with a dislocated knee. Sure, he's kind of a culture guy, but he also might not have the same burst that we saw before. So yeah, I would definitely lean the Rome Odunze side.
Yeah, it's tough. The timing of the scat breakout too, like it was definitely going to continue post Tracy coming back from injury, but I imagine it would have been a closer split than the usage we saw. That's tough.
And it's full PPR.
Yeah. Lops to PS3. I was always more of a Halo guy than the COD games, but definitely played some Modern Warfare 2 in my life. Strikers.
Dude, Strikers is goated. You are not the only one that likes Mario Strikers.
I wish there was a Mario basketball game I really liked, because all the other sports games I thought were so good. Like baseball was so good. Strikers was really good. Dang. Oh, banger. All right, AJ Lee, 12 by 10.
Nostalgia stream.
102, 107, 111, 112, and 4 more 27 first. Pretty barren roster. Would you trade the 107 and 111 to move into the top 5 or take more bites at the apple in the draft? So the barren roster part, I'm getting mixed signals in my mind, because the barren roster part does make me want to lean more towards taking multiple shots, but then I see 4 27 firsts.
I think it's barren, but you have a ton of assets that you can make this kind of luxury move, in my opinion. And I think it's probably a smart move. If I'm going from Denzel Boston to Jordan Tyson or Mendoza, I think that's probably a better bet than trying to pick, is it KC Concepcion? Is it all these, random prospects that aren't locked in top 15 picks in the NFL draft?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with it. I do get the taking more bites of the apple in the draft, but I tend to be a little bit more inclined to move up, especially when I have additional assets like 4 first and 27, to like try to be hitting on the guys, right? Because
Mhm.
Malik Neighbors hitting for your team means a lot more than, 2 Matthew Goldens, 3 Matthew Goldens,
Maybe 4 though.
4. Okay, if I had 6 Matthew Goldens and it was a 12 by 13.
That's basically the Packers offense. Yeah, you have 5 wide
It really
receivers.
is. It's just
You don't
6
know which
Matthew
one it will be.
Goldens. It's the tall Matthew Golden. It's the
How many Matthew
gadget
Goldens
Matthew
do you
Golden.
need?
Tight end Matthew Golden. Mario Baseball. I can't even.
They just they just all are called Matthew Golden, but they're like, oh, you're the gadget Matthew Golden,
Mario
slot
Golf.
Matthew Golden, tight end by Matthew Golden.
Mario Golden. Golden Mario. All right, I've got Love and JJ McCarthy at QB, Gibbs, Ladd, Burden. That's all the notable names. So that's the pretty barren roster. Are you a little bit more inclined to? I don't want to turn this into like I'm making you make a quarterback take for your roster, because I think there's other ways to fill out QB2. But are you fine with, and I don't want to use this too derogatory, because I think that in a lot of cases and in a lot of leagues, I'll have Mendoza kind of in that 3-4 range versus just putting him at 5 because he's a quarterback and it's not fun. But with Love and JJ McCarthy QB room, are you even more inclined to do that 105 move just to have the flexibility of taking the quarterback there, worst case?
Maybe, kind of no, honestly. I'd rather, like, if I need a quarterback, like, I don't want both JJ McCarthy and Mendoza because that's 2 speculative quarterback picks
That
that
you're
are expensive. Like, I'd rather just be like, JJ McCarthy is my gamble, and if he doesn't work, then I'm rolling with Kyler or something gross. I'll pick up Geno Smith because he'll probably be, I don't know, the backup in Cleveland or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, to me, I'm like, I don't want too many of those guys that are in that range, and then get stuck with, man, I overpaid on all these players that didn't hit. That being said, you trade up to the 105, all there is Mendoza, then I'm fine taking them and then figuring out what to do.
Yeah, and I don't love thinking this way, because I think it can be kind of dangerous versus just moving into the 104 or the 103 spot, but it's a lot easier to move 105 to 104, moving up 1 pick where somebody knows exactly who they're going to take, like you mentioned earlier, if it's a Mendoza person, than it is to 104, 103s on the clock, and you're like trying to piece together late firsts and other pieces. That's definitely more difficult. All right, I got a Dynasty Savvy message here, and then I've got Big Diaz's live stream ask ready. I'm locked in. I have too many leagues where I have like 10 plus picks in 26 and only a few droppable players. Do you guys ever run into this problem? What's your favorite way to handle this? I do think that a lot of times you have to be willing to move picks or players that are the more appealing ones, because outside of picks, like if we're just talking players, there's a lot of times where I'm like, dude, I know Ray Davis is worth something. Like, and the James Cook guy he just won't take him. I'm like, okay, like even for a 4th, like, come on. But like, there's times where like players you think you should be able to move for picks, or vice versa, you can't. And I think sometimes you just have to suck it up and move into the more appealing players to get the deal done, because that matters more for your roster than having a player that you rank slightly ahead of the pick you would have moved him for.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. I think when you get to this point too, it's about like consolidation, and if you have to take a haircut, it's like at least you're getting something for it, and and you might be helping the other owner out too. I mean, like, they're gonna be like, sick, I got a good deal on this, and it's like, yeah, well, otherwise I have to cut this guy or cut another player or whatever. I think another thing too is, like, even if you don't want to do that, like, trade your third for a 28 third or something. You like, try to kick some of those picks to where you don't have to make all of them this year.
Yeah.
Because if you have if you have a team that's loaded and you don't feel like you can cut any of them, then you probably don't need a bunch of picks this year. You probably need them in 27 or 28 or 29 or whenever. So I would also that'd probably be my first course of action is like, can I kick any of these thirds? Just do third for third straight up. Like, can I just kick them so I don't have to make the pick? And then I can still have the flexibility of all those picks.
And you can get those deals done. Like I would even go the opposite way where your team is at and look at, okay, what teams, pushed in a ton of picks and consolidated for players and are like totally removed from this draft and would love a random early second added to their rookie draft so that they can participate in the fantasy league.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of options there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Big D, as this team's name is the Breece Hall of Shame. All right, so we have an offer, inbox offer.
Before we dive into it, well, you remember our first show together? Since it's a nostalgia stream.
Our first show.
Your big player takes was all around Breece Hall.
The Breece Hall. I might have, guys, I have a confession. I don't think I roster any Breece Hall in Dynasty right now.
Well, I think you may be a fraud, man.
I think I'm a fraud. In my defense,
Hunter, Breece Hall, you're going down with the ship.
In my defense,
last year, now you have none of them.
One was a Breece Hall to Pickens pivot, which I felt like I was getting a really good deal on. And the other one was I had Breece Hall on the Bravo Daddy League and ended up moving, I think it was like Breece Pickens and some other stuff to get Malik Neighbors and a pick. And so that was kind of one of those.
It was more just better opportunities.
It was a dream. It was a dream trade for a tanker is really what it was. And it was thinking about all the hurt Breece Hall has cost me. All right. We got the Breece Hall therapy session out of the way. We can move on to the Big Diaz. So this is
fully out of the way.
I think this is an offer that either Diaz sent, and then this is the counter we got from the offer we see up top. He countered with Diaz, who is getting Harvey and Loveland and giving away Charbonnet and Bowers, to add in Mac Jones and get a third back. But with the attrition of QB last year, I had a terrible time acquiring QBs in this league. First and a second born for starting QBs, shaking my head. Yeah, I assume some of these like Mac Jones, maybe not Mac Jones, well, maybe Mac Jones, Jacoby Brissett, Malik Willis deals with like the Jordan Love injury were probably pretty brutal, especially considering that we only have 2028 picks over there. So would you do, what's the Charbonnet injury makes this interesting, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest piece, I think, in terms of what type of deal you want to do.
It probably means they're bringing back Kenneth Walker.
I do think they re-sign Walker. I think he'll have a good end of the playoffs, too. Like, you give Kenneth Walker 20 touches, and 3 of them are going to be
3
good.
touchdowns last game.
Yeah.
Or 2 games ago.
I'm talking, Super Bowl MVP, unless that's going to Darney or JSN. Okay. With the Kenneth Walker Super Bowl MVP talks out of the way.
In a vacuum, I'm going to say do it. And here's why. Loveland has the chance to be treated like a top 3 elite guy if his usage continues into next year. So what's the downgrade from Bowers to Loveland? Not terrible if Loveland continues, keeping up his workload that he has currently, especially since Bowers is banged up and on a bad offense. 2, Zach Charbonnet's doing nothing for you, right? So that's he's not going to really help you a ton. RJ Harvey, this is going to be a second-year running back. He's going to assume more of that role. We don't know what's going on with J.K. Dobbins. You feel better about your running back room there. Mac Jones, someone has to trade for him or Brock Purdy has to get injured. So if I'm getting a third for Mac Jones, it does stink, but it's hard for me to sit here and be like, Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback that is going to be available if I need it. And it's a question we kind of skipped over in the chat by Rayru. He said Malik Willis Chance of starting next year, 80% higher or lower. You also got Malik Willis here. Like Malik Willis, I think probably is. I think it's 80% is about right. Like I don't want to be like 90-something percent, but I do think he will be a starter somewhere. He has a better shot than Mac Jones. And then you also got Brissett, Tyrod. Like I'm not saying these guys are exciting players. You probably do need to address quarterback somehow. But I wouldn't sit here and say don't potentially lock in two start-worthy guys because you want to hold on to Mac Jones.
Yeah, I am just surveying
ABD
options.
picks.
Yeah, I'm just surveying options, mostly looking at picks, but just honestly, whenever I'm moving somebody like Bowers, and I think Loveland 100% deserves to be in the like conversation with upside for Bowers production, but I at least want to open up the talks because there is 1.5 bonus, but it's tiered PPR, so it's 0.75 for receivers and then 0.25 for running backs. Which makes me not necessarily just like my feelings about Bowers on my own team, but in terms of how the rest of the league sees Bowers, right? So we do have Tonjes. I was looking at this team, but they don't really have a lot of picks. None until 2028. I don't know if I would want to go down that far.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at the quarterbacks because I know Big Diaz shouts for still hanging out. I know I was looking at all the teams, and pretty much everyone is running pretty thin at quarterback. The biggest concerns to me about this roster, though, are you're middle of the pack and you don't have any picks in 26 or 27.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think Mac Jones is someone I feel so confident in that I want to get rid of starters. Because, like, it does suck if you don't have a quarterback for a bye or something or an injury. But in a league like this, getting multiple starters, it's a deep league, 14, 11-man league.
Yeah.
Like, locking in two starters versus having a Zach Charbonnet that's injured for half a year and Brock Bowers who's probably crushing it. That to me is worth it. I can flex a Tungus, an Ingram, and then if I need to be, I don't know if it's a super flex or a two quarterback. If it's two quarterbacks, it's a little harder. No, it's a super flex. So worst case, I can flex like a tight end and just hope I get lucky, and maybe eventually I can find a deal that makes sense for me to get some sort of quarterback production.
Yeah.
Like I like having the backup quarterbacks and locking. Like I would continue to pick up all the random backup quarterbacks that could possibly find their way into a decent roster in this type of league. But I'm not going to be super stingy, especially when I have no flexibility. It's going to be a lot easier to take that third plus something to get a spot start here or there than be like, oh, you want to back up Mac Jones for a starting quarterback. You're going to have to add to that.
Yeah. Are you, I think I'm probably a little hesitant. Are you a Harvey believer? And that was like a little bit of me looking at what other deals could happen with Bowers. But
he's currently what? Currently RB 17, it looks like.
And I think that's a fine range for him and what his upside is for the next handful of seasons. But there's just like tiny.
I have hesitation, but he
just
is
with Dobbins coming
tied
back
to a top team.
We'll see.
Still averaged 20 or 12 points a game.
Oh yeah.
14 by 11. Like I don't want to get too stingy. Like this is a league where like a Woody Marks. I'm still holding on to Woody Marks because it's like he still probably has a role.
If it holds, is valuable.
Like here's week 13 onwards. 21 points, 22 points, 12 points, 21 points, 18 points, and 5 points in week 18. So to me, I'm like that is league winning numbers when you're in this type of format where if you're dropping 20 points in a 14-team league, that's going to be hard to compete with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they probably don't meaningfully add to the running back room. Like there's like a little give and take, I think, with how much they use guys like McLaughlin, even with J.K. Dobbins out versus Harvey. But
Dobbins also isn't under contract, I don't think.
no, yeah, I think he just had a
So I don't know if he's going back or whatever.
1-year deal. Yeah, he might. I could see Dobbins. Poor Dobbins, man. It's just this is like a
He was
every
doing
year
good.
occurrence. Like he just looks good for a little bit. He's never going to be a bell cow. That was the one thing I was going to say. Diaz is like, if they like some of the running efficiency stuff is pretty rough with Harvey, but like obviously you're also looking at a rookie who also has looked like good in space and good in the role that he's been given. So I don't think they would meaningfully add to the room, especially if they're fine using guys like McLaughlin. But that's my only hesitation, and it's only from the perspective of moving Bowers and what Bowers could get me elsewhere. If Bowers hits the block in, a 1.5, I know it's not exactly 1.5 because it's tiered with the other receivers, but still, like this difference between the running backs, like an overall. And I think Loveland could crack that. It's just I think where the perspective of people for where Bowers is right now,
In these leagues, to me, it's always like, can I get the amount of quality pieces? And like, to me, it is a 3-for-3 swap, but it's very much a tier up for Bowers. And I think the value of getting Harvey on top of Loveland for that package is something that you could look back next year and we'll be like, Loveland's tight end number 1 and Bowers is banged up again, or like, and Charbonnet, like we know what Charbonnet is. Charbonnet is 9 to 11 points a week versus RJ Harvey, which has put up consistently some 20-point weeks. Like he could have, week winning upside. So I'm probably shooting more for lock in the starters. Even if you move Mac Jones, I can figure out quarterback somehow. And even if, like me sitting here in a hypothetical, I'm not trading away a starting quarterback right now. Like I'm trading away a backup. If my quarterback got injured or something happened, it's not like Mac Jones would be someone I could start anyway right now.
And a third, I mean, like a third feels like nothing when you are like focused on the upside of the quarterback room and how difficult it was to acquire quarterbacks, and having a room full of the Mac Jones, Malik Willis, Jacoby Brissett is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
But man, when you have no picks until 2028, like a third, it gives you some flexibility. Like it's not a lot.
It's a little release valve. It's like you got the pressure cooker and you can just let some of the air out because you at least have some wiggle room.
Yeah, because I know we've all been in. I mean, I've had a couple teams where I've like pushed in a lot of picks, and it's just like, man, I am able to consolidate. People don't know what they're doing. I just need to keep, acquiring running backs because they, are dominant in this format. Where I'm trying to make a move, and someone's like, "Oh, dude, you don't have a pick until 28." Like, I don't know, man. Like, I was hoping I'd get a second.
Pick.
Yeah. Good me send a 27-second or the 114 to add Mac instead of the third. So he's getting a 27-second instead of the third. I don't know if you could swing the 114.
I think you might be able to swing the 114 over the 2 or the 27.
This guy's getting Bowers. Like I think you're totally fine to counter with that. That's not disrespectful at all.
Yeah, I think that's a fine counter because even the one like you're like a first, it's the 14th. Like it's like a 202 in most formats. Like it's not like some crazy high value pick.
And that jump means, I mean, what we were just talking about, that means a lot more for your team too. Like turning that third into a 27-second.
And hey, the 114 that could be a quarterback. You could take Chambliss. You could take. I don't know if Simpson will be there, but you could desperation roll a rookie quarterback.
Diaz, I know you have probably already done this. Okay. But I would just be checking and exhausting the bad tight end team options. Not the bad tight, specifically the Kittle owner. I don't know. What do you think? How much do you think you could get on top of this? I wish there was picks, dude. Oh, because I'd love to try to like really get some pick flexibility
It's the
back.
same conversation. Oh, you don't have a pick till 28.
I know. Like if I could turn this into like 27 picks or something this year, also get a piece.
How about Malik Willis, Nico
Yes.
Collins? Or wait, Malik Willis for like Trevor Lawrence, Brock Bowers, and like
I think we're
AJ
getting
Brown.
too crazy. I'm usually the last person to acknowledge when I'm getting too crazy. I think I'm getting too crazy with the Kittle.
I'm spitballing here. I'm spitballing.
No. I know you don't want to move too far down from Bowers, and I think Loveland is like a totally fair delta, but I'm still willing to do that type of move in this format because I believe in Loveland. Hey man, we got a star over here right now. I'm on Parker Washington. All right, don't you worry. Unless you can only start 3 receivers, which I don't think that's the case. You got 3 flex spots. Okay. All right. 211. Mark, Jeremy. Any closing, parting words?
I do. I have a closing question.
Mm.
Do you think Montgomery gets moved to another team? If he does, where would he rank as a standalone RB1?
I think when you look around, let's just be reasonable about this, because I think sometimes we can fall into traps, and this is like a double hypothetical, because this is an if move and then new ranking if happen. So let me get that out of the way. Oh, and this guy. Okay. So let's say like the reasonable retains the current room, like there isn't like an unexpected move. Genty, no. Brees Hall, no. Cardinals, you get Connor coming back, Benson coming back. I'm gonna say like not smash RB1, unless it's like a random big money deal, which isn't gonna happen. I'm pretty pessimistic on this, for the record. Feel free to interrupt me.
What if Seattle lets Kenneth Walker walk and brings in David Montgomery until Charbonnet's?
I don't think that's going to happen, and I think best case scenario, he is just the Charbonnet.
Chicago.
He goes back. I mean, is Swift gone? Like, if Swift's still there, and Monangai?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Ben Johnson. He'd be like, let me bring in my guy. I don't need Swift.
I like David Montgomery. I just don't think David Montgomery is like a heavy target for.
I think the best shot is probably Houston with Woody Marks.
It's Houston with Woody Marks, and Joe Mixon shot himself in the foot or something and is not
I don't
relevant.
know what's going on with Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I don't want to pretend.
To me, he's retired until like we get like a pulse check.
He does, he does exist to me though, because I do have like 3 Joe Mixon shares that are like on teams I could really use a running back next year. If
I do have him on that.
By the way,
you know what take? This is one of my worst takes. In a Charlie Daddy Best Ball League, taking Joe Mixon.
Oof. I took Mixon in I think I took him in.
I think I still have him. I just held him the whole year. I was like eventually he's gonna come back.
Dude, I think I took Mixon in Alpha Daddy, which I won. Could have really used a player that mattered for my team this year. Guess I'm too good.
Joe Mixon, RB53.
Okay, where were we at? Okay, now I'm just looking for ones that are like reasonably interesting. Chiefs is just so like I don't. I just don't see these
especially
things
since they're
even
getting like
happening.
love. I think
Right.
realistically, it's probably New Orleans or Houston is the most likely chance that he has a shot at being the RB1 pretty early on. Because like Woody can be more of that satellite back, and then you have Montgomery, kind of like the Amazon Basics version of Gibbs, and then you have, New Orleans, which is like you got Alvin Kamara, who's like 500 years old. So you
Yeah,
kind of need a bit of a bruiser, and then like is Devin Neal like that scary?
I think it's more like the aspect of this question that was where he would rank as a standalone RB1 is like I'm just already in the 20s in the best case scenario.
Yeah, I think realistically, he'll probably just end up in the same spot. Like, I think Detroit keeps him.
Yeah,
I feel like he's a culture guy. Detroit is in a weird spot because some people, not me, some people say the window might be closed.
No. Pet, we got that. You didn't hear about your petsing?
Not like the Carolina Panthers. The window is just cracking open.
Yeah. Oh man. Hopefully someone's still holding that window. Do you think Dynasty Jake is holding that window open? They're alternating.
Oh, Dynasty Jake will go down with the ship.
They're each taking turns holding the window open. You're in Michigan, Will? Me too. Let's go. Grew up in Metro Detroit. Live in Traverse City now. Traverse City, beautiful. Beautiful. Love Traverse City. Do not go there often, but when I went, beautiful. I am I'm on the other side. I'm not the other side really. I'm Flint side. Probably like an hour from Detroit.
Flint, Michigan.
I'm not in Flint.
That is I only know one thing about Flint, Michigan.
That's what I think people would know when they hold up the hand. Detroit and Flint, maybe. Maybe people just don't Detroit. Okay. Yeah.
Is Monty this year's crusty?
I think the tough thing with Monty, for me, who loves David Montgomery, and was finding myself somewhat believing in like the Dan Campbell, we want to get him more involved. But dude, when you're designing a run game, how do you just not want it to just all be, what is Jahmyr Gibbs doing on this play? You know, how are we utilizing
the issue
him?
is Gibbs is just too good.
He's so good, dude.
It's not that Monty's bad. It's that Gibbs is too good.
Like if we just go David Montgomery, handsome, and we just read a random article. No, I just think the Monty stuff, like if they're willing to use him closer to two seasons ago, I just don't know how easy that is going to be to predict. Can't wait to hear all the offseason reports about how Gibbs and Monty are on the field at the same time. I just saw triple reverse sweep and JMO threw it to Monty. All right. We're designing trick plays for the practice squad Lions. Let's call it GG. Thank you all for hanging. Good stream. See you next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Stay tuned. Jeremy, Super Bowl? Who's your Super Bowl? We'll end there. I'll go full screen for you.
Hawks Patriots.
That's kind of where I'm at too.
I think Seahawks got it in the bag though.
I think it's going to be a great game. I'm really excited for that Rams Seahawks game.
Seahawks Rams, and then like whoever makes it out of that should win.
Okay.
But the Seahawks are probably going to do it just because there's no place harder to play than in Seattle in the playoffs. As a Panthers fan, watching Prime Cam go into those Legion of Boom games, I mean as a kid, I that scared me. That I was not mentally prepared for those games.
Dang. That's the
but
Prime
we did
Cam.
get that really cool GIF. We got that one cool GIF of Cam Newton standing at the tunnel, just staring down the Legion of Boom as they run out. That was pretty sick.
Yeah, I am. We that was the Prime Cam bingo slot. You guys can all mark that on your boards. Let us know if anyone got a bingo off of that. No,
that is definitely on the Jeremy bingos.
I love hearing about Prime
Prime
Cam though. Like that is a dig only because it's true, not because it is not wanted. I love Prime Cam.
Prime Cam is my joy for this game. I wouldn't be here if Cam Newton didn't come lift the depressing Jimmy Clausen, David Carr with a metal rod up his back, Vinny Testaverde Panthers into relevancy.
You know what? You said Prime Cam is the reason you love football. And I'll tell you what, Prime Lions Stafford is my reason. Also Megatron. But dude.
Not John Kitna?
Dude, shout out John Kitna. Shout out John Kitna. Shout out Jason Hanson. Lions kicker signed football. My brother has somewhere in his garage. Jason Hanson signed football. Let's go.
I have a signed Jordan Addison jersey.
Let's go. Heck yeah.
My signed stuff is not looking well. Bryce Young and Jordan Addison.
I love I don't know if you do this. Sometimes I'm like, obviously when I'm doing stuff and working on the videos, I'll be clicking around Sleeper and like pulling stuff from there. And nothing cracked me up more than clicking on the Jordan Addison Sleeper thing and just seeing the news blurb be not expected to be facing any charges for. It's like, oh man. Dang.
It's like, what is it this time?
Oh, that's funny. All right. That's a great ender. Shout out Jordan Addison. Shout out the Vikings. I'm going to say, I didn't.
Yes, that sucks.
That is brutal. All right, here's what I'll say. And I you said F the Hawks, so that gave me the energy to say, let's go Rams. I'm so down for Stafford to get a second. Deserved. Stafford, hidden boss, hidden goat.
2 Stafford rings. Detroit definitely officially lost the trade.
Oh man. Oh, Gibbs has been fun though. Gibbs has been fun. Dude, Stafford. Oh, you give me Stafford on the 2024 Lions team. All right. I think we have to call it there. Will's reminiscing.
Will's starting to get emotional.
All right, GG's. Jordan Addison. I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in. See you next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Like, subscribe if you're not already, and stay tuned for Dynasty/rookie offseason content. We'll be doing startup drafts, rookie drafts, the whole 100 yards. All right, GG's. Peace out.